Thank you for explaining that. So my next question to you would be, when you say it's accounting and not filing, can you explain the difference in the two?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no money. So when you say I'm putting $10 worth of food into my body, I mean, how do you account for that? There's no money. So you have to do numbers somehow, and they only know numbers. I was talking to somebody who was incarcerated, and I was explaining to them that they are a number that's there, and they're there because they created an obligation that they just sit there in a warehouse until that obligation is fulfilled. But it never was theirs until they correct the record. Then it's going to be remaining outstanding. And this is again, it's a matter, people get offended. um, it shouldn't be an offensive thing not knowing who you are, because we're constantly going through this journey learning who we are all the time. We learn something new about us every day, and we change all the time. We're forever evolving in an amazing way. So it's nothing to be ashamed of in not knowing our identity. We're constantly evolving in our identities, in our evolution of who we are as beings. And we're improving our x-ray vision and our ability to be invisible and all, like, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
joking, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like all of our abilities that no one talks about, or people are afraid to say that they can do, because people will think they're weirdos, is all okay, because it's how you were supposed to be in the first place.
Like Superman, right?
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I would have to agree with you there. Through my research and studying myself, I've been learning about, stuff being put in the toothpaste to block our third eye and whatnot. So,
Calcification of the pineal gland. Yeah.
correct. That's correct. Okay, so my next question to you would be, um, so if there's no real money, what is equivalent to being called money, and what is being considered right now as money?
So, okay. So when I say there's no money, I'm talking about there's no money on the public side. The private side, there's well, we're all given unlimited whatever we need. So the money is not something we're going to just tangibly touch. Um, but what they're doing is accounting on the public side and conversion of money from legal to lawful money under 12 USC 411 on the private side. So if you know how to do that, you can set up the same and operate the same. This is this is commerce. This is business. This is a matter of setting up a business and learning how to operate different positions as one, because a trust is more than one party, and it involves some sort of obligation or duty to perform something on behalf of someone else. That's what a trust is. And so when everything we're doing is creating a trust, when we create a contract, it's always a trust. Because there is no tangible money you're giving them, there's nothing that they can give you back except a receipt, right? So we don't ever get back a receipt, and our record is all that we have. So we give that up. You're giving a signature and the record that we gave it to them, both. So when they have both of it, we have no interest in anything anymore. So when I talk about equitable interest is something that we can always create, and it belongs to us. Our creator gave it to us. And when you feed your body, you have an equitable interest in that, but no one's ever told you to be accountable for yourself. No one's ever told you to have value in yourself, which is the paradigm that the whole entire, um, well, the the places that want to govern mental are the ones that are controlling the narrative of that. So as we realize that, we can start to change things. So we're not a part of that organization or group anymore. It was never intended for us. And we just become a part of it by default because we don't know how to speak up and we don't know who we are. So
Right.
that's what I teach.
Thank you. So where would one be able to find you if they wanted to follow through with the W-4 process?
So we have the W4 group on Lonewolf's Pack, which is on the W4 Telegram channel. You can also go to the website. We have lonewolfspack.org, LONEWOLFSPACK.org. And we have different memberships on there where people can go from level 1 to just getting information on the site to we have several members, well, hundreds of members that are on the level 4, which is teaching trust. I teach trust and operation of trust every single week. So people are learning how to create who they really are. They're learning who they are at the time they're making records of who they're not, and then they're making a new record of who they really are. Because, like I said, it's not people that believe they know who they are come and they say, "Yeah, I know who I am," and then we sit down after an hour and they're like blown away, and they don't they've got to go rethink some things, and then suddenly they have a different perspective. And what I teach is that right now people are only given the lenses to see from looking at a clock from like 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I'm not trying to open up your expansion to the other side until you're ready, but I just want you to look to 5 and 6 o'clock and see what's down there. And then once you start realizing that there's more to it, then you can start turning around as you feel it deems appropriate, because you'll find that once you discover who you are, there's no one that can order you and boss you around and tell you that you're something else. And you'll see that suddenly things that were super important to you before they don't mean anything because they never were important before. They never were intended to be, but people told you where to focus and you listened. So
Right. Makes sense. So my next question would be to you is what results can one expect by following through with the W-4 process?
so the W4 process has different results, and the reporting is always done on the private side. What happens on the public side, and this is where people are misled by a lot of the W4 stuff, is that if there is no impropriety, if they haven't done any accounting wrong, then nothing is going to change. Um, if accounts get paid off, it's because they've been doing the accounting improperly, and you're snitching them out, if you will, and that is zeroing the account. Um, but the thing is that the W4 isn't the end all to everything. It is the beginning. It is like the gateway for you to learn how to take control of the stuff. So you're making a reporting on the private side for something that's never been reported before. And as such, you're learning to go on the private side to do more, but that's just the gateway. That's the beginning to making the reporting. And then you go and make notices under inequity so that you have a proper record and no one can tell you that you're liable for something that you didn't even create.
Thank you. So not only do you, I think I went over 8 questions, but that's okay. Um, so not only do you teach the W-4, but you also have steps in place for people to protect themselves and create their records of claiming who they are for,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So the W4 process is not, I mean, people come to us and they have issues right now. And so we've created something that has allowed them to report on the private side, the accounting. Now, there is no liability in this. I want to be clear on that because we're not endorsing anything on this. We're leaving it open for a fiduciary to endorse it. The people that are doing this outside in other groups are teaching endorsement. They're teaching other stuff that is accountability stuff. And there's no, we have no indemnification clause or indemnity bond in case something goes wrong and we harm someone in our actions. So it's not a good idea to be doing these things that people are doing. You're creating a record that you can go back and stand on. You're saying, here's a report. You're putting a red flag on something for someone to go look at it, a neutral third party, which is the IRS, to go look at the accounting. If there's any impropriety, they take care of it because they're the fiduciaries in the transaction. A lot of these people get stuff that when they do the W-4, these other groups are misleading them because they get the return mail as a frivolous filing. The frivolous filing is a test to see who, if you know who you are. It is a confirmation. It's saying, are you sure that you're the man and you want to do what you're doing, or do you want to remain a taxpayer? People don't see it as that. See, we're seeing the perception of, oh no, I'm in trouble, not I need to stand on my ground to confirm who I am, because this is a test in my ability to discern between fiction and reality. And am I going to stand with my creator, or am I going to run back to another man's creation? That is the difference in what I teach. I teach you beyond. The W-4 is just a reporting, but there's way more beyond that, because you're learning who you are. Right now, you've abandoned everything you've ever, like employment, you never did anything in accounting after you left an employer. So all that accounting is all yours and you're entitled to it. So we teach you how to go and fix it on the public side, so you can go and get the accounting on the private side. Once you do that, then you're in a whole different world. You're never the liable party, but we don't know how to say no in terminology that these corporations understand, because we're dealing with laws under private companies, not under constitutions. We're dealing with emergency banking powers, not rules that people believe that they have a book to. We're dealing with the Trading with the Enemy Act, which suspends all of the things that people believe they have. So they're not even looking in the right direction to find resolution.
Thank you. So when people are getting these codes back,